expect more, achieve more. My new book is titled The High Life, Club Kids' Harm and Drug Policy, and it's based on my research for 15 months, where I spent almost every weekend with a group of young adults while they partied in the Jersey Shore, in the Hamptons, in New York City, and in Miami. And I watched them dance and party and use drugs. What's interesting about my book, which is very different from most studies on drug users, is my study focused on quite wealthy young people. So these are embedded in society. They have jobs, they graduated college, they own businesses, they are doctors, they have PhDs. So this is a very different group of drug users. Most studies of drug users are mainly about the poor, lower class users, and these users were not those kinds. They primarily used ecstasy, GHB, ketamine, crystal methamphetamine, cocaine, marijuana, alcohol. Well, what was interesting about this group is because these particular users were socially embedded, they had many factors that prevented them from getting into very excessive use patterns. They pretty much mitigated their use based on job responsibilities, family responsibilities, and they basically were insulated from all of the harms that most people suffer as a result of their drug use. For example, most lower class users receive a lot of attention from media, they receive a lot of attention from police departments, while my users, they're not really focused on in the media, and police often don't try to enter their communities and arrest them. So they were very much insulated from all the harms associated with drug use. They have really kind of changed my perception of a drug user, right? You know, you are constantly given images of a drug user, talk about, you know, users who can't seem to hold down a job, can't seem to graduate college, can't seem to even get into college, are in and out of the criminal justice system, where these users, and they've been using for 10 years. At the time in which I started studying them, they were using drugs for 10 years. And they have successfully graduated college and high school, and they successfully have jobs. And that's not an image that most people know or even think about when they think about the amount of drugs and the types of drugs that these particular group of users were consuming. Well, I think what my research shows is that we need a more multifaceted approach to understanding drugs and to addressing drug use. Specifically, the United States' policy is very law enforcement oriented, and we give very little attention to drug treatment or to even harm reduction. Harm reduction is actually a term that most of our drug czars have been afraid to discuss. So this book actually shows the importance of reducing harms and how harms can be reduced even while using illicit and potentially harmful drugs.